With software becoming more prevalent in our everyday lives, we should become familiar with important concepts such as software licensing. While some may find the topic of licensing and the legalities surrounding it complex, it is important for security professionals to familiarize themselves with the ins and outs of software licensing. A software license is a legal instrument allowing the use or the redistribution of software. Without the license agreement, using the software would constitute a breach of copyright law. The particular license agreement will explain to the end user how they can use the software, who may use the software, the locations of use, the number of servers, plus whatever the publisher decides to include in that agreement. Software agreement can take on many different forms. In some cases, software agreements are detailed contracts that are negotiated between the software vendor and the customer. These types of contracts start off with an initial proposal from the vendor, which is then revised by the customer, and this process can go back and forth a number of times until an agreement is reached. This is commonly referred to as a negotiated contract. A click-through agreement is essentially a polar opposite of this approach. With a click-through agreement, the end user is presented with a binary option to either accept or deny the contract. Another type of agreement that you should be familiar with is a shrink wrap agreement. By shrink wrap, we are referring to the physical shrink wrap around the software. These type of agreements immediately take into effect as soon as the shrink wrap or seal of the software is broken. While software licensing is valuable, security professionals should have a broad understanding of the flow of information. Specifically, security professionals should be concerned with the type of information that crosses international borders and the regulations surrounding it. In the United States, the government uses the category of regulations known as export controls to restrict the flow of goods and information considered sensitive for military and scientific purposes. International Traffic in Arms Regulation, otherwise known as ITAR, and the Export Administration Regulation, EAR, are export control regulations run by different departments of the US government. Both of them are designed to help ensure that defense-related technology does not get into the wrong hands. An export license is a general term for both ITAR and EAR controlled items in which the US government has granted permission to transport or sell potentially dangerous items to foreign countries. ITAR, which is the more stringent of regulations, was written for articles with direct defense-related applications. The Export Administration Regulations apply to technology and information that's considered dual use. In other words, technology or information that has both military and commercial applications. Some of the categories covered under EAR are sensitive electronics and computers, lasers, navigation technology, marine systems, and more. Finally, the Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC, restricts economic transactions with countries that are considered sponsors of activities considered contrary to the foreign policies of the United States.